go. All right. I think we are ready. And so, beloved masters, greetings on this evening. It has been quite some time since I've spoken to you through this medium, and I'm looking forward to many times meeting with you in the near future. The times have changed so dramatically over the last few years. It is absolutely amazing how different our world is today. It is changing so dramatically. This is the 9th of July of 2025. On the 7th of July, the planet Uranus went into the sign of Gemini. Over the last 9 months, there has been a full shift of all of the outer planets that control the karma of this planet. And astronomers and astrologers don't seem to be able to find a place where this exact configuration has happened before. On election day of 2024, Pluto went into the sign of Aquarius. In the spring, Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter all began to change. And so now Uranus has finished the 5 by moving into the sign of Aquarius, or rather Gemini. So it is, dearly beloved masters, that these changes are moving the planet forward so rapidly, moving the planet forward in such a way that you can't look back, you can't call the old ways. The harder you try to live as you have known, the more challenging it will be for you. In the greatest of love, we are with you. In the greatest of love, we are willing to assist you. But it is, dearly beloved masters, these changes are calling you to participate in your life. Humanity has been asleep for eons. In this movement through physicality, you have moved into a lower vibrational frequency. And now, even scientists are beginning to record the fact that the vibrational frequency of the Earth is beginning to upspiral. The Earth had looked vibrationally dark, grays, maybe even some black. And now it's beginning to radiate some green, some yellow, beautiful changes corresponding, isn't it interesting, to the truth center of the physical body. The truth center is your spirit. But in the physical form, where the solar plexus and the heart chakras both exist, solar plex yellow, heart chakra green, That's the energy where the earth is beginning to vibrate the most powerfully. Isn't it fascinating that what would correspond to your soul, your heart, is what the heart and soul of the planet is moving toward? So, our teaching for this month of July of 2025 is about choices. We hear the cry of people all over the planet about wanting to have things happen. They want to change things. They want to stop things. They want to make it go back. You are brilliant, amazing, divine, creative masters. But there are things in the heavens that disallow your being in total control. And as this evolutionary process into the Aquarian age is moving now, it is, dearly beloved masters, your own vibrational frequency from the very depth of your soul is changing. Every choice, and this has been true all along, every choice you make has an impact. The ego mind has actually done a lot of work to convince humanity that your choices have no influence. You have no impact. Nobody really knows the difference in what you choose or not. And it has caused people to become progressively more careless with their choices. Careless. To care less about yourself, what you do, what's happening. You focus outwardly to the world, or in many instances, you're living on the outside, wanting to get in. And now it's time to bring your energy to your center, that center of green and yellow that exists in the solar plex and the heart. Relax and just allow yourself to feel the connection. Connect deeply within you. Put your focus on the area of the solar plexus. Forgive trying. For trying is a neutralizing energy. It isn't doing and it's not doing. So let go of trying. Forgive need. For need builds walls. The more you need, the harder it is to get it. So your choices have really brought you to where you are today. If you have tried to make things happen and they didn't really go the way you wished they would, then it is, dearly beloved masters, it is time to forgive trying. choices. I want to forgive. I want to let go of the old ways. That sounds wonderful. You've said what you choose. Now, dearly beloved masters, you get to live it. You get to put your focus on that desire to live connected within yourself, to live from the inside out, which is the way you were divinely created in the beginning, to move forward in the energy of these times, to become progressively more inner aware of who you really are. And even the planets are assisting humanity on Earth to really delve into your inner self. Who am I? Without judgment, without criticism or condemnation, come home to yourself. Come to you and be with you in love. Love has no criticism. Love has no necessity to judge. Unconditional means without conditions. No right, no wrong, no good, no bad. And the logical mind says, you can't live without that. You did. When you were in the beginning, you did. You lived together as a collective in love, and you got along, and you supported one another, and you delighted in who you are. And for a long time, the earth was very much as Eden might be described. But the logical mind, the much more physically oriented way of looking at things, began to develop a new direction for humanity. Instead of the deep, peaceful feelings within you, in the seat of your soul, the logical mind said, but the highest place is where I want to think. And so the logical mind established a new place of thinking in the head, in the left brain. Now, up until that time, you thought in the center, heart, soul, and body brain, a triune of amazing energy. And your thoughts were aligned with your spirit, with the essence of who you are. But over time, that thinking process began to change. You always had choices. But the logical mind began to take the vast expanse of opportunities and potentials that spirit offers, and it began to narrow them, narrow them, narrow them down. It called it simplifying things. But then it made people afraid to get outside of the boundaries of that illusionary simplicity. And even though logic will tell you something in the moment, that logical minds will say, that makes sense. Tomorrow, when you look at what logic said, especially now in these times when the energy is escalating, you're moving into a higher frequency, and you may begin to ponder what logic said yesterday that made so much sense and realize that didn't make any sense at all. Now that I take the time, because the solutions of logic have been geared to people, the whole human race, who aren't paying attention. And if you're not paying attention, then most anything might make sense. But the more you reconnect to your center, come to center, and begin to consider how you make your choices. Logic says, good choice, bad choice. Spirit says, how does it feel? Logic reacts emotionally. Spirit is capable of an overview that the logical mind does not allow, that gives you an opportunity to see a much bigger picture, to feel a sense of peace, a sense of power, a sense of direction that the outer world doesn't offer. I choose peace. Fantastic. Now that you choose peace, it is time to live it. For logic says, I choose peace. It's the right thing. I choose the good stuff. I want all the good stuff. Don't want any of that bad stuff. Just keep the bad stuff away from me. Bad people, bad thoughts, bad everything. Don't want that. I want the good stuff. And Spirit says, there's no good or bad. It's all energy. Your choice makes it what it is. When you make the choice, what are you thinking? What are you feeling about that choice? I choose peace. Is this a decision that you are making for yourself to redirect your life with confidence and intention? Or is this a thing that you are thinking about what others should be choosing? I choose peace. What are you choosing? What they are choosing isn't making one whit of difference for who you are becoming. Everyone, every being, everything on this planet is connected. There is nothing, there is no one that you are not a part of, because this whole globe and everything connected to it is connected to each other. Logic wants to choose who to love. Logic wants to even control you as you choose who to love. Spirit says love is. You are love. You were made in love. You were created by love. And you are called to live in love. And as you feel into your soul center, you will feel what unconditional love feels like. It's beautiful. It's inclusive. The pain you may have suffered, feeling alone, feeling set apart. I don't belong. No one cares. That's a part of the outer world. But as you allow yourself permission, because you have the free will to make choices, and logic has more or less left the impression that God makes the choices for you. And then it's not too terribly clear what happens after that, but you should do what God tells you. The thing is that who be God in this place? Each and every one of you are a divine part of that deity, that divine creation. And the choices that you make are either choices to control outer world or choices to surrender inner world. And the pride of the outer world says, I'm not surrendering to anything, to anyone. I refuse. Spirit says, come home. It's time. We've watched you wander for so very long, and it's time to come home. You could envision yourself sitting on your suitcase out in the middle of nowhere, wondering where God went, when God is everywhere you look. Logic has perpetuated the unfortunate misconception that God created all of this and left. And so this is a planet of orphans. But you are not alone. What do you choose? Would you like to be a part? Then, beloved masters, that is where you put your focus, your intentions, your passion, your desire. Negative affirmations of all the things that are wrong with you keep you separate. No one cares. I'm not any good. They said so. It's still a choice. They may have said so, but you have the divine right to say, but it doesn't apply to me. One of the biggest points of this shift of energy on the planet, dearly beloved masters, is honesty with self. Don't tell yourself things you don't mean. Make promises you cannot keep. Pay attention. If you're half asleep, you may say and do things that you don't even remember, but there are still choices. Even if you say, but I had no choice. That, dearly beloved masters, is a major power giveaway. I had no choice, so I had to follow their choice. No, it takes courage to make choices that you feel in your soul are positive, that will make you stronger, that will bring you home to yourself. But someone on the outside may be bringing threats, causing you to feel helpless. But, beloved masters, if you will live that courage, if you will feel that love within you, supporting you, surrounding them, it is so much easier to make the wise choice and let go of trying to control the outcome. Right now on the planet, there are so many people that are experiencing opportunities, challenges to help them to see, who am I? Who am I? But they are still so caught up in looking outside of themselves. Well, what would you do? I've got a very important decision to make. I will take a poll of my friends. What would you do? And when you're done, 50% of them would do it and 50% of them wouldn't do it. And the choice is still in the final end, no matter what, always yours, unconditionally. Free will. You have the right to choice. In matters such as moving into the Aquarian age, the divine has the first choice. And so things are changing. The planet is changing. The essence of your home, Earth, is changing. And there are those who have lived by the edicts of the ego mind for so long that want to divide the planet up among themselves, as logic has caused you to divide yourself up. The logical mind puts things in categories and then files them in boxes, just like a computer. Your physical and all of your physical things, your mental, and even though your mind is created to an unfathomable expanse of information, logic wants to give you a tunnel vision. Your feelings have been depressed into emotions, and emotions are reactive. They're wounded, they hurt, they're touchy, they're angry and frustrated, and many believe that in order to prove that they're powerful, they must be violent or threatening or intimidating. You were created kind. You were created compassionate. You were created to heal and to heal yourself also. But dearly beloved masters, as you have believed more and more in separation, you're less and less connected to the power that is yours. We hear the people talking about how weak they are, how they just don't have any influence. No one cares. No one listens. Hear me. Do you hear you? Do you care about you? Or are you so out focused on others and what they're doing, while the inner child, like a latchkey child, sits at home in the dark inside of you waiting? And logic says, well, if the child is waiting in the dark inside, then how could it be so wonderful to connect within? Because as you connect within yourself in love again, because you've really never been completely disconnected, you will find that the more you allow spirit to infuse you with that unconditional love, that connected energy, you belong. You don't have to do anything to belong, but let go of believing you don't. Too simple. Got to be a catch. Can't be that simple. Dearly beloved masters, unconditional love is so amazingly simple that the finite mind can't comprehend it, because the finite mind is full of mazes and complications and power games. But as you come home to you, and the planets support that in this time, make the choice to be with you. Make the choice to love yourself. But don't just make it as though you've set something in motion and then you can go away and when you come back, it will be done. No. Feel the wholeness, the holiness, the magnificence, the expansion of yourself. Feel it inside. It opens you through that portal that exists in the solar plexus, that portal that has always connected to the divine. When people have attempted to get into their inner space through logic, they find the door is barred, there is a resistance, there's a war, there's a threat. And yet, when you allow yourself to connect in love within, that is such a safe place. Nothing on earth belongs, is owned by anyone. It's gifted to you by the divine to enjoy, to delight in. My house, yes, because your energy has brought you to that. And in many instances, all over the planet, people are losing that outer house where they have become so energetically connected that they wouldn't come inside because they were afraid if they connected within themselves, they would lose what they owned in the outer world. Choices. I surrender everything that I believe I cannot live without. And I call my spirit to assist me in letting go. That's huge. That's cosmic. That's a mega choice. But staying with it and experiencing what you will, and it's different for everyone. Logic wants one size fits all. Well, tell me how this works. There are 8 billion souls on this ball. There are 8 billion unique, one of a kind, divine creative masters. You may share thoughts, you may share energy, but you are still uniquely you. So letting go of the things you believe you cannot live without, and the logic says, no, I can't do that. I can't live without fill in the blanks. And then suddenly there's a hurricane, there's a storm, there's a fire, there's a tornado, the earthquake, the volcano, and it's gone. Now, how do you live without it? Choice. It's not a guarantee that everyone's going to lose everything. That's not what we're talking about. Logic loves to get caught up in the drama of things, but it is, dearly beloved masters, the planet is evolving. Things are moving forward. The heavens command this. You can let go of everything you've been hanging on to that keeps you from moving forward now and flow. Or you can absolutely, adamantly refuse to let go, and it will be taken away. Not because of any hatred of the deity, but because you, in love, cannot go forward carrying all of the things that you have known. Your physical form is becoming less dense moment by moment, even as we speak. Moving from carbon-based density to the transparency of crystalline form. And so, beloved masters, what has been so important in this dense physical world will serve you no way in the higher frequencies. There will be things there for you. There will be greater opportunities. There will be more understanding. There will be a lot to learn and a lot of adaptation. But where you are now moving, every one of you, the ones that hear my words and accept them, the ones that hear my words and say, probably not, the ones that just scoff and say, what a bunch of foolishness, the ones who adamantly believe that if anyone was to listen to what I'm saying, they would go straight to hell. But it is, we love you anyway. We love you no matter. We do not see you in categories. We see you as a beloved family. 8 billion members, all of the animal kingdom, the birds of the air and the fish of the sea, and all of nature is one. And our love is for the absolutely exquisite, beautifully divine individuality that your choices have created. You may be in pain. You may be sad. You may feel lost, depressed, really convinced that no one cares. But if you are willing to let go, and we're not saying give up, giving up is a completely different, much lower vibrational frequency than surrender. Let go. Just let go. How do I do that? If someone says, put that down, you open your hand and you put it down. So when we say surrender, let go, then stop gritting your teeth and clenching your shoulders and making your head hurt because you're trying so hard to hold on. Relax. Envision the violet flame flowing around you and in you, through you. Spiritual alchemy, transforming your molecular structure, transforming the sense of smallness that you have adapted for protection, and open yourself in joy, in love, in strength and courage and empowerment and truth and honesty, in integrity. Open yourself to the totality of the wonders that exist in the outer, because you have found them in the inner. Otherwise, if you're approaching your life from the outside, you are caught up in the conditions of weather that emotions inspire. People have absolutely no idea how powerful their emotions, their anger, their rage, their fear, their suffering is so powerful that the earth is reacting. It isn't about blame. It isn't about judgment. It's about the understanding within yourself that you're so much more than you've been allowed to know for lifetimes. Dearly beloved, amazing, divine, creative masters, your choices count. It isn't just the choice. It isn't just saying the words. It's the intention to allow Spirit to show you a new path, because you've made the choice to follow the energy that you have unlocked by making a choice to change. There are people that are frozen in their own body with so much pain and discomfort, the rigidity of what they call old age, and at least 90% of it is the refusal to move, to flex, to change, to surrender, to let go. It's scary. Not really. So You may envision yourself walking to the edge of all the light you have and taking that next step. Don't stand and think about it. Just call us to be with you. I can't see you. That's all right. We're there. And take one step forward. And amazingly, when you take one step forward, the light goes with you. You still may see dark in the front, but the light that you were in goes with you. And as you will come into your inner spiritual place, which exists, yes, in the center of your physical body, but on a totally different frequency, in a resonance that this form density is translating into, even as we speak. Enlightenment isn't just an idea. It's a reality that changes all things. You're changing. You can refuse, but you're changing because spirit has the first step, the first choice. You can resist and make it hard. You can suffer. That's a choice. Why would anyone make that choice? Because they're afraid to trust. Faith is a huge key in all of this. To trust what you don't see, hear, taste, touch, and smell. To trust because within yourself you feel that absolute assurance. What the master book calls the blessed assurance. That faith that abides inside of you, in the area of your stomach. Consider how many people on the planet are having issues with their stomach. The stomach is the organ that lies in the truth center. And there is a lot of dishonesty. Dishonesty with others, yes. But that isn't nearly as important as being dishonest with yourself. To be true to you. To be faithful to that divine connection that has never left you. And logic asks 1,000 questions. Well, then, why is life like this? Choices. Well, I wouldn't make those kinds of choices. Really? Obviously, there must have been some choices that weren't of the highest understanding of what they would bring to you. Choices of wishing ill on others. Choices of wanting to do harm. Choices of being kind and compassionate or cruel. And when you make the choice to step away from yourself so far that you just don't feel a thing, then the choices that you make to come home, which is where humanity is, a lot of times are such important, exquisite choices. And they may not be the biggest choices. Very often, it is the tiny choice, the choice that the mind just dismisses with a wave of the hand. But it isn't about thinking about and calculating. It's about feeling into and allowing yourself to be shown, to be led. Spirit will take you on pathways that you've never dreamed of. Pathways that logic would say don't even exist. Logic like superhighways that go from A to Z quickly. And spirit, in order to show you the glory that is yours, may take you down a winding road that seems to lead nowhere until suddenly you're in the most beautiful place you've ever seen. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow and death, the valley of the shadow of death, because death is an illusion. It's considered an absolute end, and yet who you are is eternal. So even the master book in its wording tells you that this illusion has been an amazing teaching. It has given humanity lifetimes of choices. And now, beloved masters, as you dream of peace, it isn't about stopping them. You can't change them because they also have free will. But you can make such beautiful, amazing, powerful choices. Feel it in your energy. Feel it in your solar plexus. Feel it. You may even begin to feel how the energy feels when you think in your cranial brain, as opposed to how the energy feels when you're considering things in the soul center. Choices. How do I choose? You allow yourself to feel, because the choices you make in a fight, the choices you make in fear, the choices you make in defense. And I will assure you, beloved masters, and this is divine law, this isn't something that man's mind calculated. Every choice, tiny little choice, great big choice, every choice will return to you magnified. The master book spoke a lot about threefold, tenfold return. And so the power that you put into the choice, the intentions that you put into the choice will return to you magnified. It makes it much easier to consider, what am I sowing? What kind of a harvest do I want from my thoughts, from my words, from my deeds? As you sow, so shall you reap. As you choose, so shall you be magnified. People want to be rich, and yet their focus is on how poor they are, how impoverished they are, how other people are so much better off, how the whole world is in a better place than I am. People are sick, and they focus on, how is it that I'm sick and others are well? What did I do wrong? And it wasn't bad or good, but it was perhaps a careless choice. The more you focus on the peace, on how it feels to love and be loved, it is absolutely astounding, beloved masters, how much of humanity will not let love in because they've been programmed by logic that God wouldn't approve of them letting love in. And God has become, over eons of time, presented as a patriarchal father, a punisher who will abuse you if you don't do what God wants. Unconditional love has none of that. There are darknesses, yes. The challenges are always involved because the universe requires balance. So there is light and dark, and you have the right to choose what direction you will take, what you desire to accomplish, who you want to be, even considering, and who am I? And consider you in love. Choices. And so, beloved masters, to feel the energy of your choice. Is it a good choice, but made in anger? The energy that goes into the choice is going to return with the outcome. You can say the most beautiful prayers, but if inside you're seething with anger, or you're so sure that the prayers won't go anywhere, that they won't be heard and nothing will happen, it isn't just the words. It isn't just the thoughts. It's the energy that you choose moment by moment, day by day to live. And the more you love, the more you love. And the more that you live connected to the divine, the more you feel that connection. It's real. No one is going to become God, even though some would like to present themselves that way. But everyone is one with God, Goddess, all that is. God, Goddess. For in the separation, in the illusion, the divine feminine has been cast aside, pushed out. Women and those that are considered lesser by certain groups of people have been abused simply because they're not important. So, one of the most challenging things that human beings are up against in these times, making your choices to accept yourself, making your choices to love yourself, making your choices to uplift yourself. And in that, dearly beloved masters, you will uplift others because that's your choice. To feel it from your heart and soul. My desire, my passion, my choices are to know myself so well that my contribution will make this world a better place. Not how do I do it, because spirit inspires you in a moment. You may see someone who is lying by the roadside, and you have a choice. Spirit will show you ways to take care of the situation that is for the highest good of all concerned. Putting yourself in an uncomfortable jeopardy that you feel from within is not what is demanded. Yes, you may find that the call, the choice is, would you give your life? And masters, the tests are everywhere. Because you say, yes, I would give my life, doesn't mean it will be taken. Because as we say, when you make choices, when you surrender everything you believe you cannot live without, what is yours, which includes your life, will remain with you. And if it doesn't, something better will come. The courage of choice. War heals nothing. Never did, never will. But you, dearly beloved master, one of a kind, unique in your choices, can consciously or unconsciously influence your realm of influence, the lives you touch, the people that you speak with, the actions you take. So, dearly beloved masters, to really feel inside of you what is my choice of the path that I will now take to be more conscious of the choices I make. Spirit is a protector. Spirit is a guide. Spirit can make you more and more aware of the choices you have made for your highest good and the highest good of all concerned. And a lot of the logic questions that simply had no answers can be understood as you make the choice to connect within. Equality doesn't mean we're all alike. It simply means we all have equal opportunity, equal gifts. They're different, they're unique to the individual. What will you choose to create with your gifts? That's equality. If you choose you don't like the gifts, I wanted someone else's gifts, I'm not going to do anything with my gifts. That's a choice. If you look at the things that you apparently have been given as gifts, and you see them as a glorious challenge, an opportunity, a way to give something great, all I've got to do is understand what I've got here. Logic would say, I don't know how. What do I do? Spirit says, I will find a way. And if you're really convinced, convicted, your choices will support you, shore you up, evolve you. And the earth is evolving in love. And so, masters, until we meet again, in whatever manner that may be, you never know where we're going to turn up. It is in the greatest of love we bid you adieu.